Love the countdown. Are we live? All right. Good morning, everybody. I'm going to call this regular term meeting of the Bee County Commissioners Court to order. The time is 9:01 a.m. on Monday, June 9th, 2025. We're physically located at the Bee County Courthouse, Commissioners Courtroom, number 110, 105 West Corpus Christi St, Beeville, Texas 78102. That was the call to order. Would everybody please stand and join Pastor Andrew Green in prayer?
Let us pray. Almighty God, our Heavenly Father, send down upon these who hold office in this county the spirit of wisdom, charity, and justice, that with steadfast purpose they may faithfully serve in their offices to promote the well-being of all people. Give them understanding and integrity that the rights of all may be safeguarded and our community be served. Send us, we entreat you, in this time of need, such rain and showers that we may receive the fruit of the earth to our comfort and to your honor. And teach our people to rely on your strength and to accept their responsibilities to their fellow citizens, that they may make wise decisions for the well-being of our society, that we may serve you faithfully in our generation to the honor of your holy name. For yours is the kingdom, O Lord, and you are exalted as head above all. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor Green, for that wonderful prayer. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now the Texas Pledge.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Excellent. Good morning, everybody. We're at agenda item number 4. This is recognition of visitors. This is not public comment. If you wish to make a public comment this morning, that agenda item is agenda item number 6, and we're only on agenda item number 4. But for those of you who haven't been here before, if you would like to identify yourself for our record, and for our record only, if you want to raise your hand, I can call on you, and you can announce your name if you're with an entity, the entity that you're with, and that's it, nothing else. Is there anybody? Yes, ma'am.
Mary Jane Zavala Padron, Regional Director for Outbreak Head Start.
I'm going to ask you to repeat your name one more time, loud. I'm sorry. I just want to make sure our court reporter gets it.
It's a long one. Mary Jane Zavala Padron.
Thank you, Ms. Zavala Padron. And who are you with?
Outbreak.
Oh, excellent. Thank you all for being here this morning. Anybody else who'd like to identify themselves for the record? Okay, moving on. Thank you all for being here. Please come back again real soon. Agenda item number 5, Commissioners Court opening remarks. I have no idea which one. Oh, Commissioner Lenny, you'll go first, sir. Thank you.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Been a quiet couple of weeks, actually, which is unusual, but I'll take it every once in a while. Attended the South Texas Judge and Commissioners Conference in Corpus this past week. That was, as is always, good. A lot of good information, and that is a requirement for our continuing education. So, well attended, lots of good information. Also, I teamed up with Blue Ribbon and South Texas Land and Home. We're doing a fan drive. It's summertime again. Anyone interested in donating a fan or a monetary donation to Blue Ribbon, they'll go out and purchase the fans, and then we'll distribute them to people in need. I think this is the 3rd year we've done this, and it's been a huge success for the last 2 years, so we're going to try to do it again. I got a call. There's some security lights that are out down Ridgeway around the Daisy Lane area, looking at those. Also looking at some security light situations there in Blueberry Hill. I had a call this past Friday of a young lady who was concerned that her neighbor was setting up an RV park basically in her front yard. And the guy had these chemical totes, he had sewer pipes all stacked up, and it looked fishy. So I contacted Mr. Jemison. He was going to run out there Saturday and take a look at that. And if that's what he's doing, that's a no-no. He was going to put a stop to that. So, also, the beautification project is in full swing, as it's summertime again. We are currently helping a lady out in Skidmore with the project, and took care of a project here in town for someone. And then last but not least, we are, this next Saturday, we're kicking off a summer into school summer event at Nepal Park. We are having just a full day of all kinds of things to do with Francisco Trevino and J.D. Garcia, bringing bouncy houses out. We're having music, food, in the night with the movie. It's just something for the entire public to come out at no charge. So just a fun day for the entire county. And even if you're not from the county, you're still welcome to come out. So with that, I will pass to my left.
Thank you, Commissioner. I have a couple of things. I'm going to bounce around a little bit. First thing I want to talk to everybody about, several weeks ago we talked about the hail damage that they had in North Peak County and how it hit the solar farm. And they had contacted me to let me know that even though the panels were damaged, that there was not any leaching of the chemicals into the soil to get into the water system. They called me back, and that's still in effect. But they didn't know at that time how many panels had been damaged. Well, they called back and they said between 8 and 16% of the panels have been permanently damaged. That doesn't sound like much. So let's round that off to 10%. That's kind of in the middle, right? There's 1 million panels up there. That's over 100,000 panels that have to be replaced. So 10% doesn't sound like much unless you have 1 million of them, and then it's 100,000 panels. And I asked them, I said, when do you think you'll have it complete and back in operation? They said, well, we hope by this fall. So it's going to take a while. They've got to take the panels out. They've got to bring new panels in, install new panels. So that's one of the pitfalls of having solar panels on your farm, ranch, or solar farm, is hail does a number on them. So 100,000 panels at least. Mineral bus stop. We tried to keep you up to date on what happened there. You remember over 90 days ago, a contractor ran into the bus stop and damaged it. We had it taken down. Ambi Construction is the company that put it up. The insurance company contracted with them, they took it down. Since that point in time, they have not been able to come together on an amount to reinstall the bus stop. It's been over 90 days. The county has taken back care, custody, control of the bus stop. There's an item on the agenda to talk about it. Ambi did a great job taking it down, but like I said, they could not come together on the price to put it back up, so the county's going to handle it now. Ms. Rana in her office and the auditor's office and I have been talking, and we have some ideas. Something else, I was also in training with the other commissioners this week in Corpus, and I bounced from there. I wasn't able to finish the last day. I had to take some law enforcement training to keep my TCO certification up, so I was in training literally all week. It was an interesting week. The other thing I'd like to talk about is county roads. For some reason, there is a contingent in North Peak County that are not happy with the county roads. They say they're too narrow, they have too many 90-degree angles, they want white line down the middle, and I said, stop, right there. County road is a county road. It is governed by TxDOT specifications. But the reason some of them are very narrow, they were put in the 1900s, where two landowners said, okay, I'll give up a little bit over here, you give up a little bit, and that's why there's 90-degree turns on them, because landowners gave up that property. To widen the county road, the ideal situation, the county road right-of-way should be 60 foot wide. The county road should be 30 foot of pavement. That gives you 15 feet on each side. The complaint I got was, well, when two school buses meet, there's not enough room for them. Well, dadgummit, how many times do two school buses meet on the same county road at the same time, anywhere? Usually it's one school bus picking up people. But anyway, be that as it may, when you grow up with county roads, you know that if there's a vehicle coming, you kind of pull over a little bit. You give them a little room, or they give you a little room. What's happening to us, we've got people moving to North Peak County, if you will, from Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth, and out the Houston County roads. It's, well, I can't understand why there's not a line in the county road. There's no, county roads don't have lines in them. They don't have do not cross, do not pass lines. So we're trying to educate those people, so when people start driving about county roads, our road and bridge people do a fantastic job. They really do. With what they have and the amount of, there's over 450 miles of county roads, and people don't realize that. When you go to Skidmore, you go to Tynan, you go to Pettis, you go to Pawnee, those are county roads. Even though they're called North Street, 2nd Street, 1st Street, they're county roads. We maintain those. Right now, the county is doing resurfacing in Pettus. They're doing a great job, and the people are real happy. Well, another town says, well, why don't they come down here? They try to be on a 10-year cycle. Sometimes that 10 years stretches to 20, 25, because we can't get there. And correct me if I'm wrong, Judge, we just increased the road and bridge budget at a monitor of about $1 million this last year to help pay for road materials.
Very
Yes,
expensive.
they're very expensive, and the equipment they use. I was asked, and we had a meeting at the mineral, Saturday, and I was asked, well, why is that piece of equipment sitting out there on the yard? They ought to be using it. I said, the one you see ought to be in a museum, it's so darn old. I said, we bought a new one this year. I said, they don't even make those anymore, we can't get parts, we have to fabricate parts. And I said, the new one cost us $500,000. And we're lucky in B County, we have what's called a unit road system. We have one set of equipment, where some counties have 4 sets of equipment. Some counties are talking to us now about they want to go to the unit road system, and we're working with them trying to get there. But it's real interesting. I don't know what it is about county roads, and then they say, well, you know, I was going 70 miles an hour and I almost slid off the road. Stop it. When the speed limit is not posted, it's 50. Most of our county roads have 35, some have less, and slow down. It's not that important to get there real quick. They really were complaining, you know, there was loose gravel and I slid. I said, stop. Why are you driving that fast? But people from the big city are used to doing everything very fast. We live in a rural community. We know we're going to get there. It may take us another 30 seconds to get there, and we're going to do it. Judge, with that, I will pass, sir.
Thank you. I said that thank you a little strongly. I didn't mean it that way. You were all getting worked up. So I was like, yeah, I'm excited too. Commissioner Farias, you follow that, sir.
All right. Let me see if I'm doing that. This past week, we had a Zoom meeting with Bee Development Authority. We're still trying to get our companies lined up out there and finish the rest of our ARPA funds. So we're scheduling that. That's still going on. We're getting several bids on the very last piece. So it's almost coming to an end. The funds are about exhausted. And we did have a meeting, and I think Jennifer's scheduling a meeting with Komatsu for the courthouse inspection, I believe. So we're trying to do it on Juneteenth when we're closed here. Because they're going to bring a big lift, so there won't be any traffic around the courthouse, so they can get from the first, second, and third floor all the way to the dome. So there'll be some work being done here at the courthouse for that, and hopefully it'll all work out on the scheduling. I had one call on a culvert. I had a new person trying to buy the culvert before they talked to Road and Bridge, so I handed it off to Road and Bridge. They're going to get her set up on Carr Road, and we welcome them to B County. Had another call on 402 about the neighbor bringing in junk vehicles, 18-wheelers and things of that nature. So I called Mr. Jimison. Mr. Jimison's got a handle on that already. So thank you, Mr. Jimison. And also talked to our jail captain Bailey on Friday. Big shout out to her. Passed the jail standards inspection, federal inspection, and a fire inspection. All 3. No deficiencies. So big shout out to them. And then we had the conference this past week, which was full of information. We had lots going on this week. We had the 89th legislature that ended, and there are some bills that are sitting on the governor's desk right now that'll directly affect us. I know that they added $100 million to this Texas Historical Commission courthouse grant program.
Wow.
So it's got to be signed in. There's another one on indigent defense, which includes $170.3 million. And $8.8 million to create a new public defender offices. So that's going to be spread throughout the state. That's not very much, but it's still going to be spread out. The property tax, the homestead exemption went up from to $140,000. So for you homeowners, that's a big one there. So there's a lot more that are out there. But before I say anything else, I'm gonna wait for them to get signed into law. All right. With that, I'll pass to you, sir.
Good, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Start out with a little bit of recognition here. I'd like to recognize TxDOT. We had a little safety issue with some trees and brush on 797, and they took care of it and got it all cleared up, so thank you for that effort. Also, some general information. I also attended the Judges and Commissioners Conference this past week. It was well attended, like everyone said. Also attended my first Christmas Spawn Advisory Board meeting, so got placed on the board. It was very good, very informational. Information came to me. I do have some great news to talk about the hospital, where B County is going to be actually one of the first to receive a surgical robotic unit to assist with operations. Pretty neat piece of equipment. It's the first in B County. It's the first in our area. The good thing is it's going to help the doctors perform complex surgeries, and we'll be able to achieve for the patient a lot less pain, a lot less time in recovery. So it's a good deal there. Did I miss anything? I think that's pretty much some of the highlights. But there's some good things, and eventually we're going to have, if I understand correctly, an open house for the community to come see this piece of equipment. If you look at it online, it's pretty neat to see a robotic instrument here actually cutting on a body, but it's new technology, which is great. The good news is we have it here in B County. As far as the EOC, we've been having an issue with lighting flickering, and it flashes very quickly, so if you're not paying attention, it'll flash. Anyhow, we had an electric company came in, they installed an analyzer to determine exactly what was taking place. What they did find out that there are some cycles throughout the day where the power is surging a little bit, which is causing some of the flickering. So, but it wasn't enough to really do a whole lot. They're thinking that maybe with the 3 phases that are happening with the generators when they're kicking on, could be a potential problem. I need to verify. One of the recommendations is install some soft kits or starting kits on the AC units, but I think they're there. I'm not sure. We may have to do that in order to help mitigate that. But anyhow, it's not a major issue, but we did get the right people involved, engaged to determine what was the problem. So a little bit from the power side and some of it on our side. So more to come with that. The other good thing on the EOC is we conducted a lessons learned meeting. Great meeting, a lot of participation, a lot of good information will be coming out on that. In a couple of weeks, hopefully we'll carve out some time in the Commission's Court, share that with everyone, what we learned, and what could we do better, and what did go well. So a lot of things that went well. Also, the temporary generator at the jail, the part arrived today, so hopefully we can get that installed and get it up and running and get that rental generator off the work. In Skidmore, thanks to Road and Bridge, they did a lot of spraying on grass, so the complaints I've been getting, or concerns I've been getting about high grass, hopefully in a couple of days or two, the grass will subside with the herbicide that was out there. They also are continuing to help mitigate some of the flooding or standing water. They continue to scrape the bar ditches and also cleaning the excess waterway that actually goes onto residential property, cleaning out the trees, the brush, so it'll help the water flow a lot better. Also waiting on some cost estimates from our JP's office on some much needed repairs. Hopefully we'll get that in, and then I'll present that to the court to get final approval exactly what we need to do. There's a big list, but hopefully we'll see what the dollars turn out to be. Also, there was some concerns about excess water being used at the JP's office. So I did an investigation, went and looked at it. We really don't have any leaks. There's only 2 toilets and 2 sinks. And we're spending roughly around 7,000 gallons of water per month. And I need to look up, I'm not sure how many gallons of toilet flush, typically 2 to 3 gallons. And then the next thing is how many times you use that toilet to flush. But right now there are no leaks. We are using a lot of water. And then we're going to investigate possibly revamping the well.
Bad meter.
Could be. That was already brought up to the water board. They've already inspected the meter. There's a new meter in there, so that moved that piece out. At least that's what I'm being told. Need to investigate. It's a lot of water. But I'll reconfirm that. Also with Road and Bridge, they were pretty active this past couple of weeks. There was some patchwork that needed to be done in Tynan at the co-op. So they were able to complete that, and residents there are still got more work to do, but this is the start of the foundation of getting the road prepped up to actually seal coat that road and go out. And with that, Judge, I'll pass it over to you.
Thank you, Commissioner Olivares. And we've got a follow-up from.
Let me tell you about water.
Add on.
We had some state parks that are near cities. At night, the people were taking a water hose over and hooking up to the state park water faucets and using the water, and then disconnecting before daylight. Not saying that's happening, but it happened at a couple parks.
Well, it's their water. I mean, it's.
Yeah. Yeah, anyway.
We pay taxes.
It happened. It was down in the valley.
That's interesting.
Sorry.
Never thought of that
So
one.
to remediate that, you'll never guess what the staff did. They cut the end of the hose bib off where the
Threads?
where the threads were, thank you. That didn't work, that didn't work either.
Buckets.
Anyway, thank you, Judge.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for that insight, good information.
Thank you all for your comments. Moving on, agenda item number 6, public comment. I know we do have some individuals here this morning to make a public comment, I believe. I'd like to start. We have Ms. Casas here this morning, and she has Bethany Bayer. Did I pronounce your name correctly? Who she'd like to introduce. And for public comment, I'm going to ask, and during this meeting, if anybody happens to speak from the audience, for our recording strength, if you'd please make your comments from the dais, I would greatly appreciate it, or the lectern, I should say. It's not really a dais, is it? So welcome, and Mrs. Casas, you have the floor. She's not happy with me right now.
Come on.
You know what happened to me?
You're doing great.
Good morning. I'm Roxanne Casas with Christi St. and Texas A&M University in College Station. Today I have Bethany Bayer, our fourth-year medical student, and she is here for 2 weeks, and I'm going to let her take over.
Thank you, Roxanne.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for having me in Beeville for these 2 weeks. I'll be working with the general surgery team at the hospital. I'm interested in a career in general surgery, so I'm super excited. I'm also from Floresville. It's not far from here, so I'm excited to see what rural surgery is like and hopefully come back here after I'm done with training. So thank you guys.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and best of luck to you in your education. And thank you for being here. Hopefully you do come back.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Roxanne, for coming in this morning. Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Is there anybody else who'd like to? I do have Ms. Moore. Do you want to come up and make a brief statement?
Good morning. My name is Carrie Moore. I'm the new field rep for Congressman Michael Cloud. So I am here just to introduce myself and make sure everyone knows that that I'm always available. I'm just right in Corpus, so just a quick little 55-minute jaunt over here, and I'll be here in just lickety-split. So if there's anything y'all need, I've got business cards, and I'm here to serve you. So let me know if there's anything you need or if you need a business card.
Thank you so much, Ms. Moore. And we do have several elected officials in the audience today who may benefit from having that direct line of communication. So thank you so much for being present, coming in and introducing yourself this morning. Is there anybody else who'd like to make a public comment at this point in time? Okay, then we'll move on. Agenda item number 7. The following items are of an administrative nature. Commissioners Court has been furnished documentation on each item, and all such items may be acted upon by one vote without being discussed separately unless requested by a commissioner or county judge.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing.
Lots of minutes to read.
There were lots of minutes. Thank you.
She did a great job.
Yes,
She
very
really
good.
did.
Knocking it out of the park, keeping us up to date. That's incredibly important. Thank you very much. There's Michelle. I was looking for you in the audience. Okay, if there's no further discussion, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion passes without exception. Moving on, discuss and consider action on the following items. At this point in time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read agenda items 8 and 9 together. We'll consider both at the same time. And in any motions, we need to specify which agenda item they relate to. So agenda item number 8, approve a limit on the number of reserve deputy constables a B County Constable may appoint. And agenda item number 9, approve confirmation of reserve deputy constables appointed by B County Constables. Now, before I open the floor for commissioners to any discussion, and I know we've got some of our constables here today. Thank y'all so much for being present. I will say this is, it's important to make things correct. Sorry, my nose is running. It's important that things are correct. And that's really what these two agenda items are for. This is, at this point, I believe, largely housekeeping. I will go ahead and start off with making a motion on agenda item number 8 to place a limit of 6 on reserve deputy constables for any constable office in the county.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on that agenda item?
Do we want to discuss these as we go, or how do we want to do this?
Well, we'll discuss after motions are made.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second.
Yes, sir.
So we can discuss.
Open discussion.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Commissioner Oliver, you've done some research on some of this that you'd like to do, and I have some information.
Okay.
Excuse me.
No, that's okay.
You have some good stuff.
I'm listening. I'm just going to turn it on.
Yeah, thank you for the education on the past couple of weeks as far as, better understanding of the deputy and the reserve deputy role. Also, trying to take the politics out of things, just looking at the justification for the number. And, is the number the correct? 6 is right? I don't know. But what I did do was, taking a business look at it, does the amount of work that the county's doing warrant that many individuals working for the county? So thanks to Madam Auditor, I was able to gather some reports to basically see, just look at the income that's bringing in, and is it really needed? And then also understanding the role of these individuals and the value that they bring into the county is pretty important as well. So taking all that into consideration, what is the right number? The county has already set a precedence. In one of the precincts, we already have 4. And then we have another precinct where they're asking for some additional staff. So, the bigger question, is 6 the right number? Is it more? Or is it less? It all depends on the amount of work that's really required. The other thing in my research that I found, there's new legislation that's coming in. And I don't know all the details behind it yet, just looked at it this past weekend. But there could be some additional equipment that will go to these constables. It could be a vehicle, could be equipment as far as firearms, safety arms. All these things are kind of new. So as we're adding these additional staff to support these different areas, could have an impact on the county. But I don't have the answers to that just yet, but just wanted to throw that out as well.
Thank you. Before I turn the floor over to you, can I just respond to a couple of things? So I believe that the overall cost, some of y'all haven't been involved in these conversations before. We have 4 constables. A constable in the state of Texas is a constitutional position. That means their authority is just as independent as any of these commissioners or myself, right? And Texas has an interesting and colorful history with how we ended up with so many independent elected officials. At the county level, it goes back to the Civil War, Reconstruction. Think about carpetbaggers and think about Texas, a Texan's general ethos when it comes to one person having too much authority. So anyway, long story short, there are 3 types of constables in the state. There are constables, they're elected by the people. There are deputy constables, those are appointed subject to review of necessity by a commissioner's court, and there are reserve deputy constables. Reserve deputy constables are what we are talking about today. Reserve deputy constables serve at the pleasure and the discretion of the elected constable. Reserve deputy constables are not employees. They do not receive a salary. They are volunteers. In fact, in B County, if you use that same moniker, reserve deputy sheriff's officers in the history of the sheriff's department in B County were something that we used routinely. In fact, I believe, were you a reserve deputy sheriff?
Yes.
He was a reserve deputy sheriff. These are volunteers. These are people who, through a passion for taking care of the community, assisting the community when the need arises, they're willing to step up and help out and lend a hand. The cost to have a reserve deputy constable is negligible at best. There is an obligation that a constable obtains a bond, or the reserve deputy constable obtains a bond payable to the constable for the reserve deputy constable in the event that something bad happens and the reserve deputy constable makes a mistake. Reserve deputy constable's conduct on behalf of the county can put the county in liability for any actions to third parties that is wrongful, just as a constable or a sheriff's deputy or the county judge or anybody else operating within the course and scope of their duties. If they make a misstep, then that can come back and impact the county from an insurance perspective or a liability perspective. With respect to reserve deputy constables themselves, the county is not liable if they are injured, or they damage their property, or their property is damaged, or they are injured as a result in executing their obligations or their duties that they voluntarily undertook with the county. This is statutory. I'm not making this up. It is what it is. So we have this weird situation where the statute does provide, with respect to reserve deputy constables, what Commissioners Court can do is can set a limit on the number of reserve deputy constables that can be appointed by a constable. There is some insurance cost. There is some carrying cost, I presume, just through actually, I don't really know. I'm not going to presume that. I'm just going to tell you, I believe that after looking at it, after having the auditor's office, and I'm more than happy to let you jump in a second, look at it, the actual cost to have these dedicated community servants that are willing to assist us in our time of need is negligible at best. The basis for the number 6 is that we have one constable that's had 4 reserve deputies for many years. We have a second constable who's requesting the appointment or the confirmation. We don't get to appoint. We don't appoint. Commissioners Court doesn't appoint reserve deputy constables. We don't get to tell a constable whether or not they get to appoint a reserve deputy constable, but we absolutely have the right, and the constable has the obligation to have their appointees confirmed by this August 4th. And so with 6 is a number that provides for future opportunity, for future growth, again, with negligible cost to the county. It doesn't set the number, high, too aspirationally high. It doesn't cut away what positions are already in place. And it is something that we can come back and discuss at any point in time in the future. So Commissioners Court could decide at a future Commissioners Court meeting to come back, reconsider this, and cut reserve deputy constables down to 1, down to 0. We have the right to do that. That's all that we have the right to do. Commissioner DeWitt, you have the floor.
Well, that's hard to follow, Judge, but I'll do my best. Statutorily, the way I understand it, a constable, their duty is to serve papers and serve as a bailiff for the JP. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's statutorily, that's it.
That's their statutory obligations, but they are licensed peace
That is
officer within
correct.
the state of Texas. They're entitled to conduct all police officer
Absolutely.
activities.
But-
Or peace officer
But they're supposed to be
activities.
serving papers and assisting as a bailiff. Okay, I'm gonna take you back to mineral. At the mineral meeting that we had, Commissioner Oliveris was there, Judge Showalter was there from JP2, and I was there. We were talking about a lot of different things. Well, the constables came up at the mineral meeting, which I thought was kind of interesting, and there were a lot of questions about the constables, this and this. We did our very best to answer those questions. Well, I had a call later from a constable concerned about what happened in mineral. I said, we're just answering questions, we're doing this, we're doing that, we'll discuss it Monday in court. Some things that I would like to say, 6 is not 6. You've got 6 deputy reserve constables and a constable, so that's 7 commissioned officers. You got 4 constables, there's a potential of 28 officers there. 28, not 6. Just saying. The chief law enforcement officer in any county in Texas is the sheriff, period. Now, constable is totally independent, they're an elected official, they kind of do and act the way they need to do what they need to do. Those of you that aren't aware of this, no one can tell an elected official what to do. The voters can, they can vote them out of office. But no other person can say, Commissioner, you need to do this. You can't do it. So I totally respect the constables for what they do. Some of the angst is a hangover we've had from constables we had in the past that had to be removed from office because they never got their certification. Those thoughts are still in the minds of Commissioners Court. You can't get them out of there. The ones we have now are doing a great job. They're busy. They're engaged. I come at this from a little different angle. I am a TICO certified officer. I was a regional commander. I had 25 officers under me with Parks and Wildlife. I'm an instructor. I have an intuition about what is going on with why we need more deputy constables. I don't know whether we're going to start a task force, an interdiction force. I don't know. But something is bugging me about why we need so many and why it's so passionate. Why do we need them? I mean, it is a passionate drive that is out there. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong or indifferent, but there's a long-term game and I don't know what it is. I know that we're holding commissions. They're holding commissions for folks. And I understand one of them works for TxDOT. Well, working for TxDOT could be, as you're in a construction site on the highway, you see a police vehicle sitting there with the lights going, someone sitting in it. That's a certified officer working for TxDOT. They're making between $40 and $70 an hour. And that could be that is going on, which is fine. It needs to be done. But knowing that these people are dedicated, they want to help, they respond when necessary is admirable, and I appreciate that. I just have an intuition if there's an end game here that we're not aware of. And Judge, with that, I will stop, sir.
Thank you. And just for, not thank you for finishing, but thank you for your comments.
That's twice.
I don't know what's going on. I must have slept well last night. Must be my new My Pillow. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Only for additional clarification, and y'all don't know this, but we do have, I've met with constables. We have some constables present today. Constables have submitted letters of support and explanation that y'all aren't privy to, but for Commissioner's Court purposes, the number 6 is a number that I came up with. One of our constables has echoed that opinion based on her own analysis and justification. But it's a number that I came up with because, again, it provides our constables with flexibility. And I've said it again, and I understand your concerns, Commissioner. And I guess, and we've had this discussion before, but so I don't need to really get into the whole Texas Attorney General's opinion with respect to the law enforcement ability of our constables. But I will say, government only works if you have a level of trust amongst elected officials. And so I trust that any activities or efforts that the constables may be considering, discussing, talking about, that they're going to loop in other law enforcement in the county. All of our law enforcement in B County, all of our first responders in B County, our EOC in B County, they all work very closely together. Yes, we are all siloed due to the Texas State Constitution and our statutes, but in B County, we're very fortunate that we have a very collaborative process. I feel comfortable at this stage trusting that the constables aren't going to take advantage of something that may or may not be out there. And I have a comfort level knowing that if something like that occurs and it creates an issue in the county, that we'll always be able to bring this agenda item back. That's all I have on that. Is there anybody else who wants to?
No, I think as far as the number, I was struggling with that as a bit too, from a business standpoint. You know, what is the right number that would support the county? I mean, we've already set a precedence with 4, 2 additional ones. We balance it out, but like Commissioner did mention, it is across the board, so you're looking at times 4. The liability, I mean, we're all covered under a blanket, so to find out the actual value, it's kind of tough to do, but it is minimal.
The other thought that I had is that the resources they have available to them are not the same resources that the sheriff has available to him. Yes, they do have resources, but he has on his phone, he's got resources they don't have. I don't know whether they all have bulletproof vests. That's their responsibility to do that. I just have some concerns. That's all.
It's fair.
I really do.
I appreciate you bringing them up.
This is getting off the original agenda for the item, but it kind of ties into it. Hopefully that when they are, and I use the word hire, which is kind of a loose word in my mind, I'm really understanding that, or work for the position. When I think of work, I think of work for the
Appointed and
county.
confirmed,
Thank you.
and executing their obligations at the discretion and the direction of the constable.
Right. The other thing that I tried to get my arms around, one of the requests came about policies and procedures that these individuals that are coming on board would follow that. I have yet to find, or maybe there's a location, where do I find these policies and procedures as far as the hiring process? I don't know, something to look at.
I can answer that one real quick.
Okay, good.
So I looked at that. Texas Attorney General opinion, I don't remember if it was Cornyn, Abbott, or our current, yeah, it was, yeah, you're probably right. Commissioner's Court has no right and no authority to inquire, to demand receipt of, or to approve policies and procedures that an elected official institutes in their own office. They have to comply with our policy manual. They can't vary from that. But Texas Attorney General in a different county, Commissioner's Court wanted to see Sheriff's Department or Sheriff's policies and procedures. Sheriff said, no, you don't get to do that. Commissioner's Court said, no, we have to approve it, we have to confirm it. And the Texas Attorney General said, no, it's not that you don't have to, it's that you can't. So it's that's sort of hard stop. I will say this also in my discussion with constables a few weeks ago. They do have as a component of their role in their as constables, they do have policies and procedures that their folks do follow. And again, reserve deputy constables is a tier that is much lower than deputy constables. So reserve deputy constables don't show up 20 hours a week. They show up whenever the constable calls them. So their role is much more truncated.
And just for clarity, Judge, I was
Yes,
just kind of curious what these roles and responsibilities were. I've never seen them. I was just kind of curious, hey, what do they look like? What's actually, background checks, the reporting requirements. I'm sure all those things are kind of in there. So I just wanted to see what was available.
One thing that I would ask, and it's not something that we can require, is that once they do appoint the reserve deputy constable, that they give that list of those names to either the auditor or the county judge, so at least we know who they are. And then if they change, that they take them off, and because you have to have it for insurance purposes and everything else. So we do need that information.
And they have to bring it to Commissioner's Court. We have to confirm that list. We have to have knowledge of those individuals. So that's inviolate. So that will happen.
Okay, good. I wasn't aware whether we could or not.
Yes, sir.
Judge, you run over the zero budget. There is no budget for any reserves or anything else, right? There's no monies
No,
there.
No, they're a volunteer. They're volunteers.
All the constables know.
Yes, sir.
So,
Yeah,
okay.
absolutely.
That's the only thing I got.
There's no vehicles, no equipment, they're helpers.
That's right. Yeah, and most of our reserve deputy constables, if not all of our reserve deputy constables currently in the county, are TCLO certified. I don't believe a fair reading of the statute says that reserve deputy constables must be TCLO certified, so they can be a citizen in the community. However, most of all of our current reserve deputy constables, when they are activated by the constable, they come with their own gear, their own vehicle. And again, this is important for us to remember, and I feel like I'm always beating a dead horse on this. These are dedicated members of our community that are looking for a way, either through restrictions due to employment, they can't provide a greater level of service, or other obligations. They're dedicated and they're desirous of providing assistance to our county, to our citizens in their time of need. And I know I speak for the entire Commissioner's Court when I say this, we appreciate greatly everything that you do, everything that you're willing to do. Rural counties, a lot of the time, we close the loop on first responders and law enforcement safety through our volunteers. So thank you for what you're doing. Oh, shoot. Thank you for letting me know. I'll go ahead and call the motion. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Both sides.
I'll call the second one. All opposed? Motion passes without exception. My apologies on running late. What time was it? 9:45? 9:30. Okay. Then I'm just going to move forward with The agenda item number 9, just real quickly for everybody, is approved confirmation of reserve deputy constables appointed by B County Constables. Precinct, let me start with Precinct 1. Precinct 1 Commissioner, Constable Aleman submitted a letter requesting confirmation of reserve deputy constables. It's still not right in the letter, but that's okay, Gabriel. They're not reserve deputies, they're reserve. Well, no, they are. You're right. You're right, and I'm wrong. My apologies. Good job, and egg on my face. You're seeking confirmation of Brian Trevino, Gillers, Mindy, Jesse Garcia, and Donna Starry. And Constable Trevino, you are, and these are ones that have currently been approved in the past. They were approved, they were presented and are approved as deputy constables. We're just cleaning this up. So this is a confirmation of the fact that these 4 individuals are reserve deputy constables in your precinct: Richard Webb, Linda Walker, Adam Trevino, and Kirk Delgado. So I'll make a motion to approve the confirmation of those 8 reserve deputy constables in Precinct 1 and Precinct 2 appointed by Precinct Constable 1 and Precinct Constable 2.
Second.
I have a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Agenda item number 10, approve appointment of deputy constables for B County Constable Precinct 1 tabled during the May 27, 2025 special called meeting. This item is moot and will be passed on at this time. Now we're going to move forward to agenda item number 14, public hearing pursuant to Texas Transportation Code Chapter 253 entitled County Improvement of Subdivision Roads, Vernon's 2003, to consider placement of 25 miles per hour MPH speed limit sign on Bronco Lane in Beeville, Texas, 9:30 a.m. Are there any members of the public who wish to address Commissioners Court with respect to this agenda item? I request a motion to close public hearing.
Move to close public hearing.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Agenda item number 15, public hearing pursuant to Texas Transportation Code Chapter 253 entitled County Improvement of Subdivision Roads, Vernon's 2003, to consider placement of 25 mile per hour speed limit sign on Fairway Ridge in Beeville, Texas, 9:40 a.m. Both were running a little bit late on both of them. Is there any member of the public who wishes to address Commissioners Court with respect to this item? I'd entertain a motion to close public hearing.
Move to close public hearing. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Thank you again for the reminder.
Yes, sir.
If there's no further discussion, all those in favor please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Now, going back to agenda item number 11, approve and review Criminal Justice Information Services CJIS report status. I'm not exactly sure how we want to go about this. I know that our
Do we meet the threshold?
no, we're not there yet. And I'm sorry, I just realized that there's no backup information as to the current status of CJIS. We do have representatives from the offices. CJIS is a Criminal Justice Information System. Are you here to talk for us? District Attorney's looking at me. District Attorney's Office. Miss Anna, I'll hang on real quick. CJIS is basically for us, it's a reporting requirement. When somebody's arrested in a county, they get a number. When somebody has a case filed against them, that number moves to a criminal case. As those particular cases go through the criminal process, at some point in time there's a resolution. In addition to the obligations that we hold, that we have to enforce upon defendants, upon prosecutors, upon courts, we also have a reporting requirement to the state of Texas. The state of Texas has set certain parameters whereby each county in the state of Texas has to have a certain percentage of closed cases over a trailing 5-year period. This is a lot of fun, and everybody loves math, especially me. Love you, Mom. And But the bottom line is, at any point in time and at every point in this process, these cases are tracked. And when they stay open too long, then they get added to our CGIS number. By August 1st of every year, our CGIS completion date, our completion ratio for the preceding or the trailing 5-year period has to be 90% every year. And I know I'm preaching to the choir. Every year we have the same issue. We start in January, February, we go into March, we go into April, we're rocking along. Everybody's kind of relaxed, and then we get to May and June and we all start freaking out. CGIS matters number because our state grants are tied to that number. If we fail to meet that threshold, there is a likelihood that state grants will be impacted. And if you aren't fully aware of just how important state grants are to closing the funding gap between our tax revenue and our budget expenditures, I will tell you they are substantial, meaningful, and the failure of this county to be able to maintain those grants is of primary importance to Commissioner's Court and to me as well. So we have a situation right now, and Ms. Hunt, I'll call you up and let you give us a general overview, where we're not to the 90% number yet. Is it 90 or is it 98?
We just 90. We got a 90 printed report.
Oh, look at that. Look at that.
I printed the report this morning.
I said all this for nothing.
Good job.
No. And I will say, maybe having a little bit more closely dealt with it with our other elected officials in years past, it's difficult and it's time consuming and it's cumbersome, and it's very easy to look at this. All of these numbers relate to individual cases, individual arrests, individuals. They roll through the system. Numerous hands touch them, numerous departments touch them. Figuring out who needs to do what is something that requires a high level of cooperation. So now, Ms. Anna, tell us why I didn't even need to have this agenda item on the agenda today. But please do so from the lectern. And don't forget to project.
Well, on Friday, we were at 89% on Friday. So usually when I upload it, well, we all do. It takes a day before you can get it. So I check it every morning. And this morning it was at 90, but it's not easy getting there because sometimes we don't have what we need, which the judge was saying about the numbers. That's a SID number or TRN. We get the case, some have it, some don't. And that's the way they get turned in, and we need to have that in order to look up, because there are many cases that can be reported, but can't because we don't have a SID or we don't have a TRN. And that doesn't come when we get the case to get filed. So that's why if we don't have that, we can't do it. If I look it up, if I know that individual has a case, I go in there and look for that number, and then I can go into the CGIS system and see if I can find the case that I'm actually trying to report. But without the SID or the TRN, we can't report it. And I have several right now that I can't because I don't have those numbers.
Thank you, Mr. Minyo. She's with the county clerk's office. The district clerk engages in the same process. The county attorney, thank you, Mr. Knight, for being present here this morning. The sheriff, thank you, Sheriff, for being present here this morning. They also have a role to play. The district attorney's office is present here this morning. DPS also has a role to play in our CGIS numbers. Beeville Police Department also has a role to play in our CGIS numbers. I don't believe I'm forgetting any particular department. We would definitely love to find a way to get a better handle on this process, and I'd be open to ideas. I've called everybody in today for the purpose of being present to answer any questions that Commissioner's Court may have on this, but as the case may be in many instances, the pressure valve has gone off because we've hit 90%. We'll be in the same situation next year. We always are. So I'd open the floor if there's any elected official or department that you'd like to hear from. We can call on them. If there's any elected official or a representative from an affected department or impacted department that would like to make any type of presentation to Commissioner's Court, we'd appreciate it at this time. Anybody?
Judge, just for clarification, you said from the time of arrest, from that the clock starts there. So whether it's the VOPD, the sheriff's office, or anybody,
I
that they
believe
get,
so.
they get issued a number, or where does that go?
They should get a number when they get arrested. But we don't get that, we can't report.
It goes to the state. If you're asking where it goes to the state and to the system. And so sometimes that's where there's a little bit of lack. I mean, each entity is busy, you know, especially if they're getting lots of arrests. And there's, you know, that one or two papers or inmates or whatever you call them, they kind of fall through the cracks. And that's when all of us working together, you know, Snidely's done a really good job keeping it together here. The district attorney's office has 3 counties, and I work closely with the other 2 counties, and because they are smaller, it's harder to get that number up. And so we work closely together whenever those TRN numbers aren't going through. So it's helpful when you have the one person that's kind of like pushing it along. I know at the end result, like you said, every year it's the same thing. The end result is always good though. You know, we're working together, and I appreciate Snyder really pushing this county to do that, so.
Thank you.
Okay, no, I was just saying, 30 days, 60 days from the time that they get arrested to a hearing set, or it goes to Mr. Knight's office or to Ms. Williams' office.
So, and I should have clarified, and I think this is, the trailing 5 years is a couple of years, starts a couple of years before the current year, right?
So it's in arrears.
Right, and you have to overlay this process and the desire of the state to make sure that criminal cases against citizens or people who happen to be passing through, innocent victims of circumstance, that those cases are moving forward, that they don't stagnate. So there's good policy reasons why it exists, but the fact of the matter is that, for instance, most misdemeanors have a 2-year statute of limitations. That's from the date that somebody is arrested. The prosecutor has up to 2 years in which to first file their case against them. District felony cases have much different limitations periods, much longer. So there'll always be a disposition lag due to the necessity of law enforcement to fully investigate, a prosecutor's office to fully prepare for and try these cases. And every year we've passed it. I don't know, and I'd like to ask or throw it out there. You don't have to make any comments now in public, but I believe on my own behalf, on behalf of Commissioners Court, if there's something that we need to do to provide to formalize or assist y'all in formalizing the process to speed it up, something that would not cause you more work, but would help make the time that you do have to spend on it more efficient, be more than happy to try to accommodate you. Again, at the end of the day, it's easy for me to get up here and say you need to get this done because it's super important to the county. I don't actually have to do anything at all, and which is the best type of jobs I like. And but I am cognizant of the amount of time and effort that each of our affected departments puts into this. So thank you, and I'm so glad that we're at 90%. Any other questions?
Sounds like, thank you for the comment there. You're right, it is a very important document. It sounds like this is an opportunity for a process improvement for each one of these that have to generate a report. And Judge, as you did articulate there, is that, you know, is there something from the court side software? How do we track the information, you know, so that we're not at the 9th hour gathering this stuff? Maybe it's a simple process, and then, you know, as you're getting new people on, do they know what to do? Do they know what's expected of them? So I don't know, maybe there's already a flow chart or something that's available to pass on these learnings to new people that are coming on the court. It may already be in existence, I don't know. But maybe that'll help, waiting till the 9th hour to get, because they're pretty important to get these percentages. And you're right, if there's something that the court can help, you know, with that, and please let us know. Good point.
You know, something that strikes me too, that we're at 90% today, we gotta be there at the end of August too, so don't let up, don't take your foot off the gas. Don't take your foot off the gas.
Good point.
Any other discussion item? Anybody, elected officials, folks present, anybody want to comment?
Judge, the last thing I wanted to say is I don't know if the other entities know, like there's currently CJIS training, there's a workshop in Corpus right now. It started today and I won't be going today, but I'll go Tuesday and Wednesday. So they're having that right now at the Omni.
Very good.
That's
Good to know.
It's a workshop.
Take some folks with you. Great. Y'all did a good job. I know it's not easy. We've been dealing with this since I first got on the court. And it's always there, and it's always something somewhere else in the ether or the cloud that's created a problem. So y'all are doing good.
This is not really an action item. I don't believe there's any action to be taken unless the Commissioner's Court. Anything further?
Permission excused?
Permission granted, Mr. Knight. Thank you for being present, sir. Thank you all for being here this morning. We'll move on to agenda item number 12, approved Dynamark proposal to update and replace camera system DVRs for the Expo Justice Center. And it says Justice of the Peace Precinct 2 buildings. That was a misnomer. We're going to proceed on the agenda item with one amendment where it says Justice of the Peace Precinct 2. It should say Justice of the Peace Precinct 4 buildings, and
But there's no attachment.
Is there a number,
haven't
a
seen
dollar
it.
figure?
I haven't seen it. This is the first time seeing
so,
it.
okay, great. This is going to be good because it's going to shorten this Commissioner's Court meeting a little bit for our guests who've been so patient. Thank you for being present. Since it's agenda item, I'm going to talk about it. Technology is frustrating, and it seems to be that technology that we buy sooner than we like to admit it becomes obsolete. Our IT director couldn't be present this morning, thank you, who couldn't be present this morning, uses the phrase end of life. And it's and April can,
Very costly.
it's very costly, but it's common in his vernacular. He uses it all the time when we're talking about technology. And if y'all are anything like me, I think, okay, well, I bought the TV. Now that's the TV, and it's going to be the TV, and it's always going to be the TV until it stops working. And that's just not the case in this modern day and age. We have some other issues that we have to address with respect to, and that we want to address with respect to our security cameras. DVRs aren't just something simple. It's not a TiVo. These are more substantial pieces of equipment. Having a DVR that works means that the security recordings that are being taken are actually maintained. We do have quotes here.
And there, looks like they were attached. I don't know if that was.
Were they attached?
I didn't get my attachment.
No, I don't see it. I have it right here.
Did you get yours? No, your attachment.
Yeah, I thought so. But it's okay, but I've got them here. Do you have one that says 1594, 2250,
Yep.
and 2630? Where's the money coming from?
This is the first I'm hearing of it, so I mean, I know you're saying numbers, but I mean, I'd like to review them and.
I'd entertain a motion to table this item until
I'll
we
make
can
a
get our
motion.
ducks in a row.
Table till we get more detailed information.
I've got a motion and a second to table this agenda item until our next court, which is
23rd.
June 23rd.
And you know, I'm really appreciate what you're saying. We just moved into the expo, and now we're already having to update and replace the camera system.
These are the DVRs that actually store the recorded. So we did put in new I don't think this is EOC.
No,
This doesn't have anything
it
to do
says
with
Expo.
EOC.
Okay.
Justice
Yeah,
Center
that's what it
and
is.
JP4.
I stand corrected.
And I could be wrong, but I think some of those Expo cameras are cameras that we got from the new old jail. Is that right?
Possibly.
I believe so.
Because we did move
Okay.
some
Okay.
from the new jail.
Nobody likes technology. We love it when it works.
But it's tabled, we'll go ahead.
Yes, sir. I have a motion and a second to table. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Thank you. I will get this straightened out. My apologies. I'll take responsibility for dropping the ball on that one. I'll just take responsibility for dropping the ball on that one. Agenda item number 13. Fall on my sword for y'all.
You get the big bucks.
That's right. That's why they pay me the big bucks. Agenda item number 13, approve 2025-2026 Skidmore lease agreement between B County and the incredibly patient Upgreen Head Start for the land located at 300 South Street, 6th Street, 300 South 6th Street in Skidmore, Texas. We have Ms. Zavala Padron present this morning. This is a contract that we've had in place for several years. Do I have a motion?
Judge, I'd like to make a motion to approve. I have reviewed both contracts, language is the same, and the dates are the same.
I have a motion and
I'm sorry, I'm fast jumping.
it's okay. I have a motion and a second.
Now,
Any further discussion?
yes, Judge, I did have an opportunity to review both contracts, and
Everything's in order? Thank you. Is there any, it sounds like everything's going your way, but you never know when we call a vote. Is there anything you'd like to add, or you don't need to? No? Okay, thank you. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Thank you. Continue doing the good things you're doing for the youth in our community, and thank you for being present here this morning. You're welcome to stay. You're also welcome to take your leave. We've addressed agenda items number 14 and 15. We'll move on to agenda item number 16, approved process of insurance payment for the reconstruction of the Mineral Bus Stop. Commissioner DeWitt, this is your agenda item. You have the floor, sir.
Judge, Commissioners, this is one we talked about basically earlier, and to cut to the chase, make a long story short, I sent an email to the insurance company and the AMBI, giving them till close of business, 5 o'clock Friday, a week ago, to either get together and come up with something, or we're taking care of custody control back. They did not come to an agreement. The insurance company has told us that they will settle with us in the amount of $28,235.13. Let me take the court back to when we first built the bus stop. Orsted, the solar company, solar and wind company, gave us a check for $30,000 to build the bus stop. We had Andy build it. We actually built the bus stop, including the concrete pillars, put down, the road bridge, put down hot mix and a fence, all for $30,000. We feel, and I've talked to Ms. Reyna and the auditor, we feel like we can find another contractor to put this back up for this $28,000. And what I'd recommend to the court is if we do go ahead and approve this, we will go out and find a contractor, get it done, and if something should happen, we'll come back to the court, but we feel pretty confident we can get it done.
Is there any, is 28,000 the top number?
That's, yes, sir, that's our top number. And to be honest, I think it's fair. They spent a lot of money tearing it down. It was a lot of money.
So this is more than the 20, they've already paid for.
They paid for the tear down. That's all done. Yes, ma'am.
So the estimate from the insurance was $44,635.13. So the difference of that is what has been paid for the demolition. The remaining amount of the $28,235.13 is to bring it back up. So that's how much they've spent already.
Okay.
And I would recommend the court that they allow the auditor's office and Rena to and me to solicit bids and get this done. And we feel very comfortable we can get it done in the money. The concrete pillars are 8 foot deep. They're there. That was a big expense because that's already poured. It's there. The fabrication of the bus stop itself, it's a standard Mueller fabrication. I don't think that the cost is that great. If we find out that everything has gone up and we can't get in the money, we will come back to the court.
any design changes?
No, sir.
I mean, other than materials going up,
That would be it. And because
Do you have a motion?
A motion is to allow the auditor's office and Ms. Rana and myself to solicit bids and to go ahead and have Ms. Rana contact the insurance company and inform them that Commissioners Court today hopefully approves this and to go ahead and send the check. We won't do anything until we get the check in the bank.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? All those in favor?
Okay, David?
Yeah, sorry, my apologies. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Thank you, Jim.
While I could, Judge, I have to appreciate Ms. Rana, stayed right on top of this from day one, has been working back and forth with the insurance company and the contractors, and this lady is a crown jewel in B County's company.
Thank
She
you.
really is.
I agree.
Yes, I agree.
Agenda item number 17, presentation of award certificate to Christopher Lenny, Commissioner Precinct 1, and Dennis DeWitt, Commissioner Precinct 2, for successfully completing educational training during the District 11 Judges and Commissioners Conference given by Randy Shower, AgriLife Extension Agent.
So I'm filling in for Randy. I'm not Randy.
You know, there's a beautiful part about this. There's two brand new pickups involved. You get the red one, I get the white.
Mr. Goodluck, always glad to see you.
Good to see y'all this morning. So I know the court knows, but if y'all don't know, Texas A&M AgriLife Extension, our local county governments have had a long history of a mutually beneficial cooperation. And one of the ways we help foster and keep that mutual beneficial cooperation going is to provide CEU hours for our county commissioners. So back in December, Christopher Lenny and Dennis DeWitt attended our Commissioners Court Conference in Edna. They received 6.5 hours of continuing educational hours to help them, with their endeavors. So, with that said, I'd like to present them with those certificates of that training.
Thanks, sir. Let's give them all a round of applause.
I attend the other commissions we go. We always serve a really good steak.
See, there's the carrot.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Hey, it's worth it.
No, it's not pretty good. Yes, I know.
I've been there.
Good. Glad to hear that because some years I've been in charge of cooking those steaks.
It's excellent.
I sure would hope that you guys could cook up a good steak, or at least get a
Yeah, I
really
know,
good
right?
steak. Yeah.
Can't ruin the steak.
And the training is outstanding. We take a lot of notes. We talk about it a lot, and we get a lot out of it.
Yeah, Donnie, my boss, he always takes pride in trying to get new presenters every year, just so you guys are learning new things, you're not hearing repeat things, and I'm glad to hear that you're learning good stuff.
It's good. I enjoy that. It is very good.
Thanks,
See
Mr.
all y'all
Goodluck.
next year, hopefully.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service, and congratulations again,
Thank you.
gentlemen. Moving on, agenda item number 18, approve expo request for
I want to read those notes when they come out. I want to see that. Back up.
Approve, I watched Bugs Bunny this morning, I guess. Approve expo request for rental fee waiver from Conjunto Fest for their event on September 5 and 6, 2025.
Good morning, guys. Good morning, Commissioner Judge. We could have come sooner, but I just kind of want to...
Identify yourself.
I'm sorry, Joseph Bernal with Conjunto Fest. Last year we came together, we energized our local economy, straightened family ties, and honored those who served. I'm just going to read what I wrote. When we set out to create Conjunto Fest, our vision went beyond music. We wanted to showcase the very best of our city, our small businesses, our restaurants, our hotels, and most importantly, our people. Our hotel capacity climbed the weekend of last year. I got with La Quinta, we used La Quinta a lot, and then Yonder. So beds and heads were about extra 70 rooms that weekend. Local restaurants, Jalisco, and Rincon, the diner, their revenue was up that weekend. I'm hoping that it was for Conjunto Fest. The impact of Conjunto Fest went well beyond economics. We created a carnival atmosphere, welcomed families and children of every age. We enjoyed music, entertainment for all. We had food trucks, vendors, budget-friendly treats for every family, regardless of the income. Most importantly, we gave back to the VFW. The veterans program, we gave back $4,500 to them. We aren't nonprofit yet. Hopefully by this year we will be. But none of this happened by accident. It all came back, starting with you guys from last year, waiving the fee, our local businesses, friends, family that supported us throughout the whole event. As of right now, for this year, we have a cook-off, a car show. We have a 12-band lineup already. We have a rattlesnake show, a carnival, vendors, crafts, a helicopter ride again this year. So basically, we're asking if y'all can waive the fee again for us this year, and hopefully by next year, this time, we'll be nonprofit. Y'all take that in consideration. And in return, we talked to, there's 4 of us in Canuto Fest, Joe Benavides, Vicente Esquivel, Jared Cornell, and myself. We can rebuild the ticket booths, the bars, and then the water troughs for the bar, for other events that y'all have. We can do that this year.
Thank you, Mr. Bernal.
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
I'll second the comment.
Got a motion and a second. Commissioner DeWitt, you have the floor.
You know, when y'all came before us, you put yourselves on the line. You literally put yourselves and your finances on the line.
Yes, sir.
And you've been a benefit to B County with what all you just said. And I'm proud to success and get you guys going again because you're making progress.
Yes, sir. And it's not easy.
No.
It's a hard business.
You guys are doing all the work. It's kind of like the judge was saying a while ago, we just approve stuff and you got to do all the work.
We will take the credit for
But
it.
it starts with y'all. It starts with you guys.
Thank you.
Thank y'all
Joseph.
for everything y'all do.
Yes, sir.
Any further discussion? Comments?
Good benefit. I mean, we'll get it back some kind of way, especially through the hotel rental, so it's good.
Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Agenda item number 19, approve updated rate sheet changes to the Belfour service agreement for the Emergency Risk Management Office.
So good morning, everyone. Ryan Guards, the emergency manager for the.
You need this. Just kidding. Go ahead.
You want me to stand?
Come sit over there.
Please stand.
So
Behind the lectern.
the updated rate sheets, I was talking to Commissioner Farias over the weekend. I brought it before y'all to see if y'all want to approve it, or we can go out and look for other prices from other vendors. So this was originally brought before in 2018 by Judge Moreno at the time. So basically, Belfour provides on a service agreement with B County if we had any water damage, any fire, a hurricane came through, busted our windows, paperwork and stuff got damaged, they would come in and help clean that up and try to salvage as much of the documents as they can. So it's basically up to y'all if y'all want to give me whichever direction you want to sign off on the current rate sheets, or if y'all want to go out and look for other vendors, we can.
Are they the one on TV that say like it never ever happened?
No.
They're not?
Mr. Guards, is this already due now for renewal, or do we have a little bit of leeway on this, or not?
I'm sure we have a little bit of time. They just sent it to us, I think, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. It was right before the last commissioner's court, probably about 2 weeks ago. So I'm sure we have some time to review if we want.
Have the prices changed meaningfully?
I don't think that they have. Commissioner, did you have a chance to look at it?
I did. A few of them changed a little bit. It's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah.
Because there's
their
not
format's not the easiest.
there's not a 16. See those the 2016, but they don't have the 2025 prices to line them up and compare. So I asked Mr. Garza. I said, hey, is there anybody else out there, another vendor that we might compare the prices to, just for look-see?
Are you comfortable with this, Mr. Garza?
Yeah, I would say I am, only because we don't pay them anything unless we need them. So there's no.
When you need them, you need them.
Have we used them
Become
before,
costly.
since 2018?
I don't believe so.
They're just gonna stand by when they.
Correct.
Yes, that's it. And when Harvey came in, if you remember, Commissioner, there was like 5 companies that came and they were sitting in the courtroom trying to, hey, sign us up because, we'll help you get your stuff back together.
The 2018 race.
Servpro, and I don't know how many more there was.
Servpro's another one. There's another one I believe like Rainbow Red. They're out of Corpus as well, so there's different vendors.
I remember there was one court we came in and we had like 3 vendors sitting in the courtroom and they were all trying to, yeah, they were trying to get our business quick.
Ryan,
Go ahead.
the rates from 2018 versus 2024, did you see any big differences there?
I didn't see any large differences. There is some differences, but I don't think they were all that outrageous.
That's the only reason I question.
I guess, has the county attorney reviewed this?
So the original one was signed in February of 2018.
Right.
So I'm guessing at that time it was originally reviewed. I don't know. That was before I ever came over.
I would have to quote unquote assume so, because any major contract like that, we usually say, let the county attorney review it, give his blessing or whatever.
I just want to see something to compare it to. That's the only question that I had.
I mean, if y'all would like for me to table it, we can, and then I could just pull the numbers. I can try to put them on a spreadsheet to try to show the differences before the next court. It's up to y'all.
If we have time, if we're not on a deadline.
Yeah, I don't think there's any deadline that they gave.
It's an ongoing contract. isn't it?
Correct.
An open contract. This is good.
Yeah, I'm not sure that, it doesn't, it's not there's no exclusivity provision, is there?
There's a front page on there, it's got 3 columns of real tiny writing.
I mean, but the increases, for instance, dumpster, increases have gone up
This is the one's
25% or so. But I don't think that's unique in the current economic climate that we're facing.
Especially since that was 2018.
And if it doesn't prevent us from utilizing a lower vendor at the time of our need, then I'm not sure what the downside is. Is having this agreement in place, does it give us some type of priority?
So on that first page, I think they call it Code Red, which is basically one of the tiers that they have. I want to say it was on the one that said fully executed from 2018.
Judge, you're spot on. I mean, it's, coming from the conference we just had this week, having something in place now is good. And then also, I like what I heard here. We have an opportunity, there's something we're not comfortable with, that we can go to another vendor and secure another price. I think us having a priority, I think that's also a key one, because if they get super busy by other counties, we may not have them accessible to us, and then it's going to force us to go to someone else. So may be beneficial to have 2.
Well, and we're, if you will, an old customer, so we're top of the list.
We should be.
Yes.
And I want to say on that first document that said the fully executed, that price sheet, though it was signed in 2018, those prices were actually from 2016 at the very top. It said price sheet from 2016, and I think they up it every, how long has that been already? Almost 10 years?
Yeah.
So
6% fee would be added to each of the total, each invoice.
But if we have an opportunity, we're not likely to use them, we'll go to someone else.
Yeah, we're not exclusive on that.
So to have something in place, and then the opportunity to go further out. So
We got this burden in hand.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the existing contract with the caveat that the county has an opportunity to see other prices.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Mr. Garza, for sticking with us through that discussion. Agenda item number 20, approve resolution designating authorized signatories for the Community Development Block Grant Mitigation Program, CDBG MIT, for the Texas General Land Office, TXGLO, state contract number 24-065-138-E996. Thank you, Commissioner DeWitt. Motion and a second.
My comment is, I still don't know what we're doing. I really don't.
Ms.
I'm
Reagan?
sorry.
This is in regards to the MITMOD that we just got our approval for. These are the beginning kind of housekeeping, if you will, to start with those resolutions, okay? Who can sign on these documents?
Right.
Where, you know.
But we still know what the projects are.
Oh, no, it's our
No,
core
no,
projects.
no, no,
The
no,
dock
no,
bridges
projects.
and, right?
Yeah, that is water.
Okay,
that's
yeah,
the-
the cog.
I stand corrected.
Right,
Yes.
right now we're
Let
in
me
the.
take all that back.
This is the ongoing 2-year.
Okay, yeah, I mean, we're getting close to the end on this.
This
Oh,
is
yeah, we're in the
the
60
end.
day
We're fixing to
environmental.
get ready to be prepared to pull the trigger.
Yeah,
Right.
in another year.
That's right.
It's only been, how long?
2
years.
years on the dot.
Okay.
You made me feel good today, Commissioner. Thank you. Appreciate
It's
it.
all right.
2 years more.
And with
Yes.
Michael Cloud's staff here, something that really perplexes us, we're still working with the Hurricane Harvey stuff. That stuff is taking forever to go through the process. So if y'all can figure some way to sharpen those processes, I think we really would appreciate it. And I don't think we're alone in that.
Noted.
Thank you.
And Ms. Moore, I'm so glad that you're here today. No, I don't know if you've had an opportunity to meet with the Coastal Bend Council of Governments as one of your cogs, one of the cogs in Congressman Cloud's district, and we're both serve on the board of the cog. Emily Martinez is our chief down there. And there are a lot of governmental interplays that have created an interesting history with respect to this Hurricane Harvey funding that might be improved upon in the future nationwide. And obviously we've seen it in the eastern United States with the big hurricane that hit them last year, and wildfires in the west and so on and so forth. But one of the big issues that we had, speaking from the COG, was the federal government said, we're giving the state of Texas this big chunk of change. Go fix Hurricane Harvey. And then the Texas GLO took that and said, well, how do we apportion it? And they said, well, you figure out how to apportion it. So the state did figure out how to apportion it. They took that money, cut it up into blocks, and then talked to each COG, because every county in the state of Texas and every municipality in the state of Texas has a COG that operates as an umbrella organization by, through, and under them. And each COG came up with their own distribution design. It was voted on by the members of the duly operating board of those COGs. And there were some variances throughout the state depending on, what the COG board decided. We got all that done, sent it back up to Texas GLO, GLO sent it back to the feds, and the feds said, and so in order for us to do that, B County had to come up with 4 projects, like what would we be able to deploy this money to improve for future flooding protections in B County. So all of us local governments and small people went through a whole lot of work to get everything done. And the federal government said, no, we don't agree with your distribution process. We're pulling the money. And it took Dawn Buckingham to really stand up and have and take a very firm role against the federal government to prevent that from happening, because that took us about 1.5 years to get that done. All the way down, and so hopefully it's not an issue that the federal government ever has to deal with again in the future. But if it is, that interplay and really the 11th hour coming back in and changing the process after they told us what process they wanted to do was a little difficult, frustrating, caused some stress and anxiety amongst state elected officials and definitely your local community folks. But besides all of that, we can't tell you how much we appreciate the influx of federal funds through disaster mitigation, also the CARES Act and ARPA. It's made a critical and meaningful improvement to the safety, security, and welfare of the community and the citizens of our community. So we do appreciate that. Thank you very much.
If I could add to that also.
Certainly.
The American Care, the ARPA, is one of the best things that ever happened that I can remember in my tenure in government, which is quite extensive. To be able to take that money and come up with projects that help everybody like we did. We helped municipalities. We built an emergency management center. We feel very, very good about that money. We realize it may never, ever happen again, but that was a good thing. It was outstanding. It's one of those things you can't really believe you've got this pot of money and you decide how you're going to spend it per the parameters, but it was excellent. And Ms. Rena and audit were directly involved, and we feel very, very proud. B County feels very, very proud of how we spend our money. We won't back up to anybody on that one, I guarantee you. We feel very proud of that.
Yeah, echo what you're saying. What I've seen, it's unfortunate, when you ever have a major event happens like this, but it's sad, so many losses. However, at the end of the day, we had some great things that came out of that tournament. So
Absolutely. We were able to help our 8 local fire departments, the Tyne Water Supply, Skidmore Water Supply, Pettus Water Supply, the things we did.
It was quite a long list.
It was a long list that I'm not kidding you, we're very proud of.
Community benefited, that was the
Yes, yes.
Good to hear.
So I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. Agenda item number 21, approve resolution regarding civil rights policies, citizen participation plan and grievance procedures, section 3 policy, excessive force policy, limited English proficiency, LEP standards plan, section 504 policy and grievance procedures, code of conduct policy, and fair housing policy for the CDBG MIT program grant from the Texas GLO.
Move to approve. This is another
Second.
step we have to jump through for all this, and it's page after page after page.
I've got a motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. Agenda item number 22, approve proclamation to proclaim April as Fair Housing Month.
Move to approve.
Second.
I've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. We'll put it on fancy letterhead and with our seal, and we will execute it post haste. Our county clerk's no longer here in the room. She's here. We'll take care of that today. Agenda item number 23, approved contract between Easy Vote and B County for the elections office. Ms. Warnix, you have the floor, ma'am.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Before we get started, I kind of wanted to give you an explanation of what Easy Vote is. It's not exactly what the title of the company says. What we are doing is we're looking at putting in a campaign finance program. It's a software, it's a cloud-based electronic solution where all of the candidates and stuff can file their paperwork electronically on the internet so that they don't have to come to our office. It's all automatically redacted where it needs to be. It's automatically posted, things like that. You get and it's an unlimited use of numbers. We can carry it on through there. It provides efficiency and transparency to the administration reporting and public viewing of campaign disclosure reports. Now that we're mandated that we have to have those published online, it takes quite a bit of effort on our side to get those scanned in, redacted, put up and posted. This is an automatic program that will do that. It's just one of the programs that this company offers. It runs $2,875 for the year. It has a one-time information fee of $1,000. For the total to begin with is $3,875. Once we pay that implementation, we don't have it. It provides us training. It provides me with training to train the candidates and so forth. So I'm hoping that y'all will consider it.
If a candidate says, I don't want to use that, do they have to use it?
They would have to use it, yes.
So it's not optional?
It would not be optional because it would be the only way we have it. It automatically time stamps and dates the applications when they're submitted. It automatically, they come to me, I have to review them and then approve them to go online and stuff. It's a long process to do that, but it would make things much more efficient for us in our office and for the candidates.
Does that include the petition that a candidate uses to get all the signatures?
I do not know the answer to that one, Mr. DeWitt. I'm not sure. I think those actually come in your packets when you file with your party chairs and stuff. Those are not your finance, campaign finance. These are all those reports that you have to file as a candidate, your January 15th, July 15th, your 30-day, your 8th day, all of those that have to be in there. The program actually, when you fill in your first form and you put those initial in there, it actually gives you the exact forms that you need after that. You're not guessing at which forms you need to be. And it makes sure that you actually complete all of those before it can go through.
And then if you mess up, you're subject to fine by the Secretary of State's office.
No, that's the Ethics Commission.
Ethics
Texas
Commission.
Yeah, I think this program would be much more efficient where you would not have to do that. It has capabilities of sending out reminder emails. It's a pretty vast program. And that way we put in the candidates and things like that when you register and stuff like that, you get these automatic emails reminding you you've got this report due, et cetera, et cetera.
Do you know of any other counties that are using this?
There are some other counties that are already using it. I do not know the names of those counties. The gentleman I'm working with on this, his name is John Thompson. He actually was with Hart, our equipment vendor, and then has changed over to this company. He's come back to electoral.
About funding, do you have funding in your budget already for this?
Yes, through the graciousness of our county auditor and the county judge, we have actually found, we were going to put it in our budget for next year. And the judge suggested, since we have some excess funds left over, to go ahead and look for that funding this year. And I worked with the Madam Auditor, and we have located those funds.
Do we have the contract?
Yes, it was submitted to, I gave it to Candy and stuff. We have the contract.
Just where it says approved, when would it
Yes, online,
start?
Judge.
Yeah, but the original's here too.
No, that's okay, I got a copy here, thank you.
That would include school district and everything else?
Oh, thank you for saying that. That actually is for the county. I proposed to the judges to approach the school districts in the city that we can lease out to them or give to them the opportunity to do this and maybe recoup a little bit of these funds for them to make their jobs easier too.
Now, okay,
And
if
do
they
talk
say,
to
no,
the
we're not
county.
gonna do it, now you're still gonna have to manually process their stuff?
I don't process their stuff.
Oh,
They are
they
their
do.
filing authority. They are their own.
They do
filing
their own.
authorities. Yes, sir.
Okay.
But if we can set this up with them being underneath us, then we can charge them a fee, an annual fee to help with our input.
And being a devil's advocate, okay, you got a candidate that's trying to use it and they can't figure it out. Who do
They
go
can call for assistance.
Who do they go to?
Me.
You?
Because I will be the administrator of the program.
So if we wanted to get out the contract, I'm just kind of catching up on this, we've got a fourth and zero contract, piece in there. So is this, are we allowed to get out of the contract in the time?
The contract, I gave it to the judge because that's beyond my expertise.
Just wondering, if this is approved, when does it go into effect?
They are actually just now changing from a software-based program to the web-based, and that is supposed to be finished either by the end of June or the end of July. So we would have it in for this coming filing session by November, this coming.
Because the next report is due July
15.
15th.
Yeah. I don't know that we'll get it in quite that quick and all of our training done, but it's something I'm shooting for. It's really a nice program. We did an overview on it, and I have the opportunity to do another one. So I would like to invite candidates in and let them kind of see what's there and stuff. But I think it'll be much easier to use.
Here's a follow-up question, okay. You know, when you get ready to run for office, you have to identify your treasurer. Is that part of this process?
That's part of this.
Okay, so that information is gonna be entered online and not on paper brought into your office?
Correct.
And the forms will all be online?
Everything will be online.
Are they the same forms?
Yes, sir.
So really the only thing that would be brought in is if you're running for office and you're going to collect signatures, that would be brought into you.
That does not go to me, that goes to your party chairs.
That's right.
That's in lieu of your filing fee.
So really nothing would go to you at that point.
And the great thing about this is it automatically, when they're submitted and approved, it automatically puts a stamp on it that's like a notary stamp saying that this has been received and stuff. And I have, it provides, I can send information back and forth to the candidates automatically and stuff like that, that your report's been received and reviewed, your report's been accepted, all those kinds of things.
How long has this been around? Is this brand new?
I think this portion of theirs is fairly new. I think it's probably a couple of years old.
So we do have some history somewhere in another county?
Yes, I know, I've spoken with the trainer and the John on this when I did my training or looked at the program and stuff, and there was about 5 counties that right then that they said if you need reference that you could go to, and I could go back and get those and talk to those EAs. I'd be glad to do that.
And that was gonna be my question, if you spoke to
I
anyone.
would like to, if there's no big rush, I would like for that to happen before we commit to this, because this is a pretty big change.
Yeah.
And And there's some people that they just don't want to use the web.
Well, and I will tell you this, Commissioner, a lot of the counties, even without this program, require, San Patricio County is one of them. They require all of their candidates to file everything electronically. They don't even have this program, and they require their candidates to do it. They don't do it in their office. They have them submitted through email and so forth.
What's the total cost?
The total initial cost is $3,875. That's the $1,000 is the implementation fee.
It's interesting, I see in the late payments, they say amounts not due, not paid when due will bear interest at the rate of 1.5% per month. Do we pay interest on?
State order did it at a certain point. Usually over 30 days.
Okay, I'm not, I appreciate you bringing this before us this morning. So
Yes, sir.
I think it's a great idea. I support you. You like it. You think it's a great idea. I think there may be some concerns commissioners have wanting to maybe get a little bit more
I'll be glad to.
information. And so this time, I entertain any motion to table, motion to approve, motion to move forward.
I would move the table, and if you would go back to those 5 counties. And
Okay,
see
so I'll
how
get the
it's
counties,
working out.
I can make that information
Please.
today and
If there's no
how
big-
long they've been on
if
there.
there's no big rush.
Okay.
Second, Judge.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Thank you again for bringing
You're
this.
welcome.
You always do such a good job.
Thank you.
You really do. You and your office make elections painless for B County, so I really appreciate it.
Well, I knew with the name that it might be a little confusing, and I didn't want people to think it was changing.
So now we
later,
can
but-
vote off of an app on
No,
our
you
phone?
may not. No, you may not.
And the information we're going to be looking for is not just from the elections office, but from some people out there that have used it.
Yes, I understand that, and so forth. So I appreciate y'all considering it, and I will be glad to get you that information and so forth from the different counties and stuff. You're welcome. Thank you.
I have a motion to table agenda item number 2. Oh, God. I have a motion to table agenda item number 23 until our June what?
23rd.
June 23rd meeting day. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Agenda item number 24, Hurricane Harvey, Texas General Land Office, GLO, Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, status and project update. Gentlemen?
Things are moving forward, no stoppage, so.
It's still in the 60-day environmental phase right now. So as soon as we get word that they're done with their survey,
That's what these resolutions were for, to kind of move some of that along so that way we can reconvene and get some more timeline. But other than that, we're moving where we're supposed to be.
checks in them.
Excellent, excellent. Love to hear it. Thank you all.
One thing that happens, for instance, we're going to drill a water well, and we said it's going to cost $1 million 3 years ago. Now it's $1.5 million to $2 million, but we still got the same million, so that's part of the problem.
Well, when Hanson did this, we quizzed them pretty hard on that, and they forecasted the inflation rate, and they forecasted all that built into that bid.
They even padded it a little bit in anticipation of some of the.
Right. So, yeah, they forecasted the timeline, yes.
Good.
Anything further?
Thank you, Judge.
We are moving on to agenda item number 25, adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Thank you, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I've got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes without exception. We are adjourned. Thank you all. This was quite a long meeting. Really appreciate everybody's presence.